You're good.
I'm going to run some here for custom. I'm going to share this on Twitter. You'll still be able to check out your stuff since you have better social media, and I put your card on the website in the description, so they'll be able to find it.
Appreciate it, man. Hope the suspension thing doesn't last too long, holy.
Hopefully. Why do I sound like I'm so far away from my homework? Listen to the feedback. Switching over to there we go. Now alright. Looks like we do have 2 people in the chat. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of SCPS Protectors, the voiceover edition. Yeah, I'm still thinking of a name for it, but anyway, hello everyone. I'm your host Chris here, and I am joined by my good friend and fellow VA, Brian.
I said hi. Sorry. Yeah, I was like, oh wait, did my volume just not really go off? Oops. Okay.
Alright. As always, guys, you know the drill. All the questions go to my guest here. And starting off with the first one, what influenced you what I do with everyone? What inspired you to do what you do, particularly like the voice actor?
What inspires me? Man, that's pretty loaded. There's so much to pull from. I grew up watching cartoons. I didn't really grow up watching too much anime until high school. I played so many video games, and I would just go on and, Cartoon Network, Saturday mornings and everything. And this was when I was still in the States and everything, but there were so many cool cartoons. And, they would star some very interesting people, the voice actor for Samurai Jack and all these other people. Such iconic voices to grow up with. And I didn't really think about voice acting being a possibility for me until more recent years, where the question just kind of came up and, people would be like, oh, like, yeah, that like radio voice and everything. And when you hear it enough times from multiple workplaces, you kind of think about it a bit. And, having that told to me several times and me thinking about like, what could I even do with my voice if it's not radio? And then it just clicked with me. I thought about maybe I can try pursuing this. And then I decided last year when my work schedule wasn't super full this time, because I was always just kind of dipping my toe in, not really knowing if I want to really pursue it until last year, June. So yeah, that's where it all stemmed from. I ended up getting raised on so much video game voice acting, especially, and cartoons, so I got the pleasure of listening to so many cool and iconic voices who are even still around today.
Alright. You talked about what inspired you to become a voice actor. When did you want to start doing it exactly, like the official like thing and projects and whatnot?
So, yeah, that one's. I did want to do it the year before. Yeah, it is 2026 right now. Yeah, 2024. I had the thought of doing it, but I didn't really do any huge things. I did like small band-up stuff at the time, and now I just kind of like put that on the side, and I don't really do that kind of stuff too much anymore. It's very specific now, but it was something that I thought, oh, maybe I can try doing this kind of stuff on YouTube here and there, blah blah. That changed, and then I never really got the time to really make things, and I was always afraid to audition in that previous year too in 2024. But I finally built up the courage when I found myself with a lot more time, when my work schedule changed a ton, and I was like, you know what, fine, let's do this. It was definitely leaning towards it around, I'd say, February last year. I actually ended up seeking out Morgan Berry for a class, for a coaching session actually, and she's great. She's amazing. I was inspired by the amount of passion and drive that she had for it, and I kind of ended up using that session as like a test for me, because I wasn't completely sure if I really wanted to do it at that time, and I've never felt more passion just pouring out ever since that coaching session, actually, because I sat there thinking, man, there's so much to learn. It's intimidating, but at the same time, I was like, man, I want to really see how far I can go with this. So finally made the decision to make my professional account and everything on May last year, and then I really start to interact a lot more during June, and that's when I start to really do things like audition and try to practice and doing coaching, getting equipment sorted. So it went from barely even having anything that's even considered a booth, just having the standard like Scarlett, like Focusrite Scarlett and everything, and having like a decent like mic and everything, to having what I pretty much made with a friend, DIY booth and everything, and having even better equipment over time. So yeah, there were a lot of moments where I was like, maybe this could be a thing I could try to do, but I never really like caught it all in, like caught myself and just went, yeah, let's like really, really go for this, until around May when I finally made that decision.
Okay. Hello, Zeta. And hello, Telsko and Sin. Remember, guys, if we have any questions for Brian here, feel free to ask. Honestly, I've had it rough trying to, get that motivation to voice act myself. I know back in, I think it was 2023 or 2024, I forget. I was trying to, get that motivation to really, try to go for a role, especially with the equipment I had.
Yeah. I see.
I literally didn't have any good equipment during that time.
Yeah, it's the thing that people don't really talk about is how much work it takes just to get yourself set up, because you don't even have to necessarily buy like all this stuff, all these like big boots or whatever, right? If you have the money for it, sure, I would suggest that. But you can do things off of just budget, mic stuff and all that other jazz. You just need to have a really well treated room and all that, and just kind of decide, okay, let's try to voice act here, let's practice, let's do all this. So
I know, like, even like back then, and still a thing even now, like, most people, special casting directors, want you to have, like, a professional microphone, like an XLR microphone. And those aren't easy to get.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Having the money for all that isn't...
Easy.
It's not easy, especially right now. So, you know, everyone starts from somewhere, though. So even if you have to start with like not really having the best equipment, there are so many indie creators that are out there trying to also make their projects come out. And you know, if you can help bring it to life in any sort of way, even with not the best mic, that's still a really good start. Honestly, it takes a lot of passion, and we have an industry that thrives on people being passionate about what they're doing, and you know that. It really shows.
Alright. Yeah. Alright, we do have our first question. This one is from Zeta. They ask, what's your favorite hobbies?
For me, I don't really have too many hobbies. I did have drawing as a hobby when I was younger. That was definitely a favorite of mine, but currently, besides VA, I do play a lot of like video games. I play in tournaments here in my area, like just like actually ranked tournaments and everything. So I'd say that's my favorite hobby because I get to interact with the community a ton, and I get to play a game that I've played for several years actually, being Smash Ultimate. So.
Honestly, it's pretty much the same with me. Like, you draw a lot back then. Like, you've been drawing around like little fan comics of like old classics like Captain Underpants.
Oh yeah. That's sick.
I still draw here and there when I'm not doing any voice work or playing video games.
Drawing is also one of those things where it takes so much to do to really get to where you want to be, but you know, like the process you have to be so in love with.
Oh yeah, it's just like with voice acting. It's not easy to actually get it done or do it like, you know, professionally, even with the amount of years of doing it. Because there's so many different styles that a lot of people are looking for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright, here's a question from Tailscope. They ask, Brian, so when is your favorite thing, or what is your favorite thing to do in the voice? Let me see if I can try to phrase this right. What is your favorite thing to do when the voice any characters that you think of? I don't know if that sounded clear or not.
So, I might need to think about how that should be rephrased, actually, because I'm like, in my head, it's not really making too much sense. Because I'm really curious as to what exactly is being asked here. Like, what's my favorite thing about, like, voicing a character? Or, like, is there a certain kind of
Telescope, can you reiterate that question to make it sound a little more clear to what you're asking? Yeah, that would definitely help. Alright, well, we're waiting on that. And then they ask, what gives you motivation to keep moving forward in your work?
Ooh, that's a really good question. For that, I really... You get inspired by seeing other people succeed. You could get jealous, but, you know, I also am a very stubborn person. I like working very, very heavy-handedly into the things that I'm super passionate about, and, you know, I've found my little, I'd say, niche with voice acting, because it was something that I never really thought I would ever even do, because there was a period of time where I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm, like, good at stuff or whatever, and even with VA, sometimes I even think that sometimes, but I come back to it because people help me just think like, hey, this is like the process of it, and this is fine. You'll have your good days, you'll have your bad days, and I just love being a part of projects. I love helping indie people. I love being able to bring art to life and everything in any kind of form. And especially with how things are currently, I think with the inclusion of things like AI and such, it could be discouraging, right? But I think it's also intriguing and very like cool how you have so many of these people going like, no, I'm still gonna do this no matter what, because we just have so much passion pouring out from where we're at. And every time I see like new indie games come out or something like Omori, I see stuff like Hollow Knight and everything, I just think like, man, the amount of time and dedication it takes to make those things. And I want to be a part of that with VA. I want to be able to have that same kind of thing set up for me. And I like making connections with people too in the community. So it's really cool when I get to talk to more people, and we get to talk about some of the stuff that brought us into voice acting to begin with. And we all come from different backgrounds and such. So
Right.
I just
Maybe from different places, but we all started out the same way. Like, we started off small, didn't have like all the good equipment that we have now. That's all we like now.
Yeah, so people ultimately inspire me to keep doing it. I know that's not for everyone, because some people are not really as interactive with people, and that's fine. You just have to find what you personally are going to be inspired by, whether it's movies, whether it's video games, whether it's anime. Use that inspiration and you're going to be able to thrive, even if it's small projects and such. Just every little thing that you can get, it's about the process of being able to create, not just the end result.
Okay, I think I guess to make it sound a little more sense, what is your favorite, your most favorite character to voice?
Ooh.
I guess that's the question there.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about roles I've had so far, there is a recent role where there is a game that I'm in that is being made, and it's some of the most fun I've had. Partially is because of the amount of live direction I was able to receive from it and everything. The people that I get to work with, they're so amazing. They're so fun. Many Bees Studios is great. And the game that's being made is a co-op Metroidvania. So I know they're really like hard at work at it right now. So with the role in particular, the character that I play is Anselm, and it's like kind of like an anthropomorphic like wolf character and everything. Guy's really old. I just really like how I'm able to bring a lot of his just kind of like grumpiness to the table and everything, and he likes to complain about things a lot. I get to just kind of yell a good bit, and I'd say that's one of the things that, for me, that's one of my specialties, is I can make a very, I'd say, not just believable, but maybe give a really huge background on like, hey, this pisses me off. I will let you know how much this pisses me off. So there's that for me. But if you're talking about just kind of generally in terms of like types, maybe that's kind of hard for me. I haven't really branched out enough, I'd say, to really say if there was any particular type of voice that I really, really like doing. But I will say doing kind of gremlin-like or goblin-like voices is really fun for me. You get to kind of play with the energy a lot. And there's so much you can do going from high to low and all that other stuff. So I have a lot of fun with that.
Okay. Okay, I did see one. Sorry, Lita, skipped over yours. He asks, do you have any favorite movies or games that you play or watch? Did you catch that? Oh. Yeah, one sec, guys.
Hello.
Hang on, guys. I have to change my mic on another thing. Discord, why you gotta be so slow? There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, voice mod had closed down on me, so I had to change it out. Anyways,
Oh, gotcha.
Zeta asks, like, what's your favorite game slash video movie do you like? I think that was the question.
Okay.
Yeah, your favorite
okay.
movies and games.
Okay. When it comes to games, that's kind of hard. It's sort of basic right now, but Persona 3 Reload, I ended up having such an enriching experience because I never got to play the original Persona 3, and I had such enjoyment with all the characters and everything, and the way that the world interacts, especially when it comes to the ending part of the game. That was just, that destroyed me. means a lot for me when it comes to that. But very, very, very close second, I'd say, is Octopath Traveler 2. I love that game so much. I love the combat system, music, everything there. But Persona 3 just barely, just above it because it has so much that I could ask for in the game. I love story-rich games, and the music, I still listen to it a ton now. So there's that.
Okay. Honestly, I got too many favorite games myself, so it's hard to keep track.
Oh yeah. Too many good ones out there, honestly.
Facts. And I don't know about that one, Squidward. Anyways, are you a fan of Sonic or no?
I am, yeah. I wouldn't say
movie?
like. Sorry.
You looking forward to the fourth movie? Have you seen the third?
I am
first
actually.
three?
Oh yeah, I did. I like the progression of it. I think that they did a lot better with each movie that they made, and I'm really happy about that because, you know, you see the original trailer for how Sonic was, and you're like, ooh, that is not him. That is a Skinwalker. And then, you know, all the feedback and everything, all the criticism, they finally decided, okay, we're gonna adjust how he looks and everything because this isn't what you guys want. And that's honestly really nice that they did that, because you really get that kind of thing when there's a lot of feedback from just the trailer alone. So I know it also takes a lot of work to do that kind of stuff because you're working with a fresh model that you have to build from the ground up again.
Right, but also having to worry about how the fans would think of it, especially since you complained about the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Which
yeah, so
it was a nightmare.
Yeah,
also, Emily, why'd you retract the question? I was gonna ask that. But yeah, I know when it came to some of the other characters, you had to do a lot of designing and whatnot, making sure it, you know, is like what people's likings, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
I know when it came to Shadow, I know they had to really work on that one.
Oh yeah, I love the way they set that character up, and man, the shots, some of the best shots I've ever seen from their movies is with Shadow included for sure. Especially, my man did work on that Akira slide. It was amazing.
Right. Alright. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to the fourth movie. The fact that they're already somewhat done with the production on it, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. I think, you know, of course, try to, you know, suspend a bit of your belief of how good it will end up being and everything, because trying to do 4 movies in a row in the same kind of franchise and everything, it can be difficult to maintain things like, writing standards and all this other stuff, to be honest. But I think they've been improving a ton with each and every movie, so it's been really nice. And even the visuals have been super good too, and the use of the soundtrack. Super happy with how they did it in 3, because that was the one thing that was really missing, is that Sonic soundtrack that everyone's so familiar with.
I know, definitely. When I went to go see the third movie, them playing Live and Learn
Yes.
blew my mind. As someone who played Sonic Adventure 2, that one hit hard.
I had chills, man. When I heard that, I was like, ooh, this is it. Thank you.
They definitely cooked with that one. And huge shout out to freaking Keanu Reeves for killing it as Shadow.
Yeah, it was one of those roles where I can see it with how they have him set up with his movies and John Wick and everything. They're like, you know what? I think this could work, and honestly, it does. It's definitely something that you kind of potentially just have to get used to for a bit, but when you do, I think he does a pretty nice job to just kind of portray the character and everything. So very different take.
All right. All right. Okay, aside from, you already answered the question about, the Sonic movies, which character is your favorite in it?
In the Sonic movies in particular.
To add
man.
to it, in the Sonic franchise itself as well.
Okay, sure. If we're talking about the Sonic movies, I think it has to be between Knuckles and Shadow. I really like the vocal option that they picked, Idris Elba, and I think it was such an interesting and different direction for that character. And you can see some of that tough authority for him that we don't really see as often nowadays with a lot of Knuckles in media, because he's kind of written off as more on the goofy side. But I still like how they still retain some of the goofiness that he does have as a character sometimes too. So very, very much like that. And then with Shadow in that movie too, I just really love how they get him right, where he's not just edgy for no reason or anything. He has a very complicated past, and he has a ton of nuance. I like it. And if we're talking about just generally, that's Shadow and Sonic are pretty much up there. I just at their best, I really love how they're both portrayed.
Honestly,
and at
for
her
me,
worst,
it's all three of them: Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. Can't go wrong with Team Triple S.
Right. I would say Silver would be up there, but I need to see more of him in media. I know that
he's really give him that chance to really shine.
Yeah,
he has more potential than people realize.
He's such a cool concept of a character and everything too. I really like his little powers, and I really want to see more of him. I don't know how often he pops up in the IDW comics or anything, but I don't really.
He is getting his own little story with Blaze in the next issue.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So we get to see more of him.
Yeah, I think it's the thing is that so much of the fan base, or so much of how characters can come back and everything, is built so much off of even the fan base itself. They help bring so much of it to life. And one of the there's a YouTube channel that I would watch, Jet. So yeah, I love how he's able to replicate the sound of where the characters come from and everything in terms of the games and such. Very, very good audio mixing, and I just really love the way that he's able to do good bit of the voices very, very well, very accurately. He even did a little fan-made like thing with Jason Griffith, and I tried to remember the VA for Amy, but yeah, he ended up doing a little thing with both of them, and that was just really insane to me to see that as a longtime fan of him. So, and well, both of them really, of all of them, of all the people who were working on that project. So, really cool. I just, like you said, yeah, I hope to see Silver more, because him and even Blaze, I would like to see them represented more in media besides just like, you know, the Olympics, and besides just, you know, spin-off series.
Right.
You know?
Hey, with a lot of the fans wanting, you know, a year of Silver, they're definitely, you know, like Sega and the ADW crew, you know, are literally listening to the pleads and cries of more Silver, and we're finally getting one, which, with Silver having his own little adventure. Who knows what he'd be dealing with, aside from the obvious new mysterious villain.
Yeah. Ooh,
I still think
that's
it's
exciting.
Starline. I still feel like it's Starline. He's the only one who can hack, and I managed to not only like hack into, like, you know, Eggman's tech to be able to, you know, spy on him, but to be able to control Metal Sonic, who normally, you know, listens to Eggman.
Yeah. That's so cool. I really hope things turn out well with more of the characters that they end up using, because I think when it comes to the Sonic franchise, it's been doing better as of late, and I hope they can keep going with the momentum. I want to see them succeed with a new game now that they have, well, I mean, they have more of the baseline from what they can pull from, you know, Frontiers and everything, so I really hope to see a lot more success because of that.
Thank you there, Squidward. Alright, so here's my next question while we're waiting on the next one. Out of all of the people you've like seen do voice work, is there one in particular that you really want to, you know, work with, whether or not it's in your own project or in a project that everyone else is like in, if you get what I mean?
Yeah. I think one person for sure I really would love to work with, especially because, I mean, I think a lot of people idolize him and such. I think he's such a really good voice actor, but he also seems like a fun person to really, you know, record stuff with and such. I would say Alex Lee. He's definitely a big one. I know he's made a huge name for himself ever since, and, you know, more and more. And every time I see new clips from like a thing that he's in and everything, he's just so involved with fandom. He's so involved with the people that, you know, direct him and such, and he's always like offering up all these different ideas, especially shown in the Invincible game that he's in, where everyone was surprised it was him. He fooled me so hard. I thought that was Steven Yeun but I was like, wait, is this like little line that he did here, is this a tad off? I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. And then it turns out to be him, and I was like, what?
Blew your mind, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And everyone was surprised. And I think it was really funny that the timing of him doing that announcement a little bit after people were like, oh, this guy doesn't have any range, does the same voice. And it's just like, well, that's not even relatively true even before the Invincible Versus game. Because I hear all of his roles.
You could say the same for Ben Schwartz, who voices a lot of characters like Leo, Sonic, and so many other characters, and it sounds like just like himself.
Yeah. And that's fine, you know? A lot of people, they just think, oh, you have to do multiple voices to be a voice actor and everything. That's just not really true. It's good to have a good amount of versatility for sure, right? But the acting part's what matters the most, because, you know, your voice will fit in somewhere, no matter what, as long as you just keep looking, as long as you keep auditioning and such. It's just a matter of, you know, is your acting up to par and everything? Because that's the thing that people actually just forget about, is the acting part. Because they hear a voice, they go, if it's not something that's fitted to what they like, they typically will just kind of look at that and go, okay, that's like bad voice acting. And I mean, it's not necessarily the case, you know? I can understand just having preferences, but when it comes to VA and everything, just some people are able to just do a voice that you don't really like, but they're still able to act very well. So yeah, Alex Lee is definitely one of them. But if we're talking about like, you know, people that I even know, there's this one person that yeah. If there's this one person I could definitely shout out for sure, it's my friend Nick Monzo, actually, because he has experience for a long time. He's been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and if he can correct me or whatever or something later, then you know. But if I'm not mistaken, he has been doing onstage acting and opera for 20 years, and you know he got into voice acting, I believe, either October or November last year. He is super dialed in, and this guy can pull a bunch of different references when it comes to characters and, you know, being able to act them out and such like that very, very fast. He's one of the hardest working people I know in the industry, and one of the nicest people too. And it's really nice knowing him and being able to talk with him and such. He's always very encouraging. So it's really cool to see how much he's been improving over time, because barely even a year in, and he's been doing a ton of work, whether it's fan made, whether it's official, like, you know, original characters and such. He's been going at it for a long while, ever since he started in the industry last year. So I want to be able to work with him more. I worked with him on a fan project, but outside of that, I want to work with him on an original one. So yeah.
Honestly, there's been a lot of VAs I've been wanting to work with. Some of them I have been able to work with, like one with one of my recent voice work that me and my friend Sid got to work with. Mike VA, as well as Maggie Elise and Jason Boyd. Yeah,
oh, nice.
Like, I got to work with the three of them. There's so many of them that, there's still so many I would love to be able to work with. One of them definitely would have to be with the Random Goon. His work is amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm also looking forward to his projects, like the future Silver project.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that project. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It is.
I think it's really cool seeing how involved Sonic fans are when it comes to VA stuff. I think that's probably one of the most involved fandoms I've seen. Were like very, very involved with VA, even when it comes to fan work. So really can't see a lot of the passion pour through.
All right, not a lot of people really do it that much, but it's like some people say doing VA fan dub work is also still technically voice work, because it's like getting the experience. Being able to, walk in their shoes and get you ready for the big stuff. Like, for instance, one of my big dreams in the voice acting community is to be able to voice in an official anime. When I see Maggie, as well as so many of our other fellow VAs voicing in an official anime, it just pushes me to work even harder. I've gotten feedback where, they said my voice sounds realistic with the anime style to it. Yeah. That means I'm getting closer to that. And if I were to get the chance to voice in an official anime, I'm taking it. I want that opportunity. Whether or not it's an old one or a new one.
Yeah. I would love to be able to be a part of that as well. I know that one of the more flexible remote ones, if I'm not mistaken, that people have worked with was, I think, Ocean Vale, because I've seen one of my mutuals, Manatee Jump. Yeah, she has worked with them, I think, twice now, if I'm not mistaken. So it would be cool to work with them one day, maybe. So especially with like my location and everything. It's definitely hard to be in anime if you don't live in either in like Texas, because that's like the place where people want to like record locally and everything, and that's usually how they go about it. They don't really mess with like remote recordings. They only did during COVID back then, during pandemic. So then once that settled down a bit more, then they decided, okay, we're going back to recording in-house. So kind of confusing, but you'll never know. Maybe things can change again for them being more open with recording remotely, but I think that's something that would take a lot.
Right. Alright, so, Emily asked, do you think that Sonic will fall in love, will be in love with Amy in the 4th movie?
I think it will be a bit of maybe back and forth banter here and there that might lead to an interest in Amy, but I think she might
depends
end
on
up
how the director is going, go with, because like if he is following up with trying to stick with the actual continuity of how like the relationship between Sonic and Amy is like. He might be trying to stick with that, but we'll just have to wait until March of next year.
Yeah. So I agree. It just depends on the kind of direction that they take it. I don't know what they might think would be best, but I'm either way. I'm very invested to see how they'll tackle that character and everything. So let's just hope that everything is done in a very in a way where it can make sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Alright, well, we're waiting on some more questions here. Out of all the roles you've auditioned for or even landed, is there one that you had a real difficulty of trying to land?
Ooh. That's a good question. There could be a lot of those actually. For me, I'm not like super specialized in surprisingly, this is like one that I haven't really even like landed yet or anything, but just really having the protagonist kind of like role, I suppose, like in like I guess a story or something where there might be a ton of different bunch of VAs or whatever, and not really being part of main cast or something. I am a part of main cast for like a few. I'm just thinking more like anime in terms of like that kind of thing, but let me try rephrasing what I'm thinking here actually, because with my voice, for some people it naturally sounds like I can kind of pull the the hero pro tag or whatever. So I guess more so hero in that kind of sense. I don't really end up in those kind of roles. I don't really necessarily land those because I feel like one, I can't really get a good feel for how I can really be with like the nuances of how this character is supposed to be and how this character is supposed to sound and such, but I think just being able to deliver with the sound that I have naturally is just kind of jarring for me, because I don't really have that natural affinity towards the hero part of things compared to like some other people maybe. I have a lot of fun with like villains and such like that, and I have a lot of fun with just these grumpy characters, but I do hope to land a main role of sorts where the character that I am playing as is a hero. That would be really neat. That would be very different, and I would like to be able to see where that can go and everything. So
I know I got my fingers crossed for the role that audition for, that I got some good feedback saying like it it fit the the tone and energy that they're looking for the character, and it is a main role. I have my fingers crossed hoping to land that, because it'll be one of doing a vocal range that I normally am still trying to get the hang of doing. If I can be able to land something like that, and it'll be a good way to really get into it more while voicing the character itself.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, I'm hoping for the best for you, because it's like, even doing voice work and everything, people don't really know how much work it takes, because a lot of us actually being able to voice the characters, it's like, oh, thank you, that's great, that's like a part of the job, but the main job is your auditioning typically. So
exactly,
yeah, that's like a really, really big part of it. Auditioning, working towards polishing up your skill set and everything, and trying to nail the tone that they're trying to look for, I think can also be very difficult sometimes, because if you don't really have too many frames of references, maybe, then you're not going to really be able to nail things down, or you might also just be thinking of a different kind of reference compared to the original person who's casting and such. So there could be a lot of different things that make a read very much out of place for some people, or it can depend on a lot.
Right. Yeah. Alright, let's see. While we're waiting on another one, we talked about which one would be the hardest, hardest character, I guess in a way for difficult to try to do. Trying to remember what my previous question was. Yeah, I think it was trying to think of a good one. I guess if there was a future, aside from anime, is there any other kind of role that you would really want to land?
Ooh. I would love to be in... Personally, I would love to be a character that you can pull in a gacha game. I think that would be cool. That stuff is... Not only is that consistent work, but I think that stuff is it's also just really cool. And it would also just be funny to go to my friends and be like, hey, so you can pull for my character here. Good luck. Yeah, so
crazy.
There's that. I also think being in the Sonic franchise would also be really cool, but
trust me,
man.
I want that myself. Seeing Alejandro Saab voicing two characters in Sonic, two characters, one that nobody expected to make a return, Infinite the Jackal, and then voicing my boy General the Gizoid, giving him an official voice.
He nails it too. I think it's really cool that with Alejandro Saab in particular, he has this very, very particular quality that you hear, and it's usually so easy to tell when it's him in a project. Everyone was up in arms. Deadpool, they're like, wait, hold on. I know who that is. You can't hide from me. I was also, whole thing too, where I was like, I know what this is. You can't say it now, but I know it's you, man.
Honestly, when it took me by surprise when I was seeing people talking about, hey, guess what? Alejandro Saab is voicing this character. Yeah. And I was I was confused by that until I went to go check it out, and boom, I see him them talking about General the Gizoid. I see his name, people talking about it again, and I see him getting casted as Infinite the Jackal, which was a character I was not expecting to make a return into the franchise, but also to be voiced by Alejandro Saab.
Yeah, it's a pleasant surprise for sure. Oh man, there's just so many to think of, but if I had to really narrow it down, it would be those ones, and also, of course, obviously for me, Persona. I love the franchise a lot. I played since P4 Golden. I only started to really play these sort of games and everything since how many years ago? Actually, it was maybe during college years. So it was definitely quite a few years back. And my first Steam game, my friend told me, "Hey, I think you should play this one," and he pointed me towards Persona 4 Golden. And I'm super thankful because that was one of the most enriching experiences I've ever had with Steam games. Was that, and I can't wait for the remake that's coming up too. So definitely gonna play that one.
I will say one thing: Alejandro is a man of many voices.
Oh yeah,
he's literally has, if I remember correctly, he has over 100 voiceover roles, which is crazy.
Yeah, you just sometimes I look at behind the voice actors that site and everything, and I'll like scroll to like, oh, does this person do this voice and everything, and when I do that, sometimes I get too caught up with it to the point where I end up scrolling through more of the credits to see what else they voice, and then after I look through their portfolio, I'm like, damn, this person's like voiced like over like 700 like characters and such, and like it's still going. It's insane. So I hope to achieve within the same vein at some point, but
same.
Yeah, it would be cool. I really want to see like people such as yourself and like a bunch of others that I know really build themselves, because I think it's really cool being able to
same to you, man.
grow.
Same to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're all in
Yeah,
this together.
It's cool to see it. It's cool to see with like the kind of community that you can build with the people that we do have and everything. And I'd say with voice acting, it's still niche to an extent to where there's like limited circles when it comes to like people who like talk to each other and such like that. But me, I'm bad at just reaching out to people and trying to just like spark up a conversation with them in this space, because I have such a difficult time just like coming with terms of, hey, you can just try to spark up a conversation topic, because I think a lot of the time, especially, and this is also byproduct of my own time zone too, being very different from a lot of people who I do see in the industry.
Yeah, trust me, I got a lot of friends who are in multiple different time zones: Europe, Australia, even one that lives in Japan. I think one of them lived in Japan, I forget. Either way, like time differences is always difficult. That's why I love whenever I do my series, I allow my guests to choose a time and day that works for them, so I'm not, getting in the way of their sleep time or like,
Oh yeah, I appreciate that you were very considerate about that when we were talking about it too, because I was just like, I was also kind of like worried about that too when we were trying to set, like, I don't know how it is, what you got to do and everything. Like, I'm sure we can set something up on the weekend for sure, because that is like a time when it's not going to be super difficult for either of us to be on at the same time. And
right,
it's just one of those things where it has to be the weekend for it to work though, because otherwise it's going to be degen hours for one of us.
Hey, worked out.
Yeah.
Alright, we got about 6 more minutes before the end of this episode. Is there any advice you want to give to any upcoming voice actors who are trying to get out there that you want to give advice for?
Oh yeah. So for this in particular, I think one of the most important things in this community is actually building with it, being a part of it, talking with people. Some people might not really want to because they're more introverted, and that's fine if that's more of your preference. I know a person who is very, very introverted and doesn't really interact with the community. Same time zone, same place that I live for, actually. And she's just building herself up, just going into all these different projects and talking to people that way, and that kind of helps her build herself into sparking conversation in those kind of ways where it doesn't feel awkward or forced. And just keep working at your craft and always try to look at things objectively, especially when it comes to critique. That's one of the things I think that some people definitely miss. If you are not willing to take critique from people, then this is not the industry for you. You need to kind of let go of your ego and just kind of look at everything in a how can you build yourself better kind of way. So do that, work on getting your environment sorted. It's better to have a better recording space instead of a better mic. If you have a better mic but a bad space, then there's no point. So it will just sound bad either way. So yeah, just keep working at it, doing what you can, make friends, talk to people, and honestly, just have fun with it. That's my biggest thing. Because you can get so caught up in trying to get roles. I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. But I think the biggest thing is that you need to learn to have fun, especially when it comes to the audition process. It's been a very difficult thing for me, especially because I'm always trying so hard to, is this good? Is this perfect? And everything. I had
Honestly,
to...
It's the same for me as well.
Yeah, you have to let go of the perfectionism and just be like, okay, like objectively, is this like good? If you can't really pinpoint it, sometimes you just have to send it, and that's fine. You won't be able to nail everything that you audition for. That's okay. So learn how to just become better for not just like as a voice actor, but like as a person. You get to learn the ins and outs of how to deal with a lot of things. So that's the biggest thing that I'd say a lot of people don't really talk about too much, is that you just get to learn how to very much express in your own kind of way and just be you. And I think it's really cool that you get to grow in that vein with other people that are like-minded in that. So it's neat. Just keep working at it, just keep doing what you can, and you'll eventually find yourself to be in a position that you never thought you would. I never thought I'd be even like relatively like working with other people who I highly respect. And I have a few people who currently follow me, and I look at their name, I'm like, where did you guys come from? And these are big time people too, so I have no idea where these people...
I felt that too.
Yeah, so when I see those people, I'm just like, I can't believe I'm looking at this, right? And I'm not like...
Trust me, like when I see like people like Lindsay, who's the voice of Ruby, as well as
posts were like really interesting and cool. And this was at the time when he was posting a bunch of like narrative stuff over cats, and that was like really like interesting, funny to me. And then full circle, I remembered like, oh yeah, I need to follow this Baldwin on my professional account. That's right. And then I follow him, and then not too far like after, I actually see him follow me back. I'm like, cool. I don't know why, but cool. Thanks, man. So yeah, I mean,
I still chat with them from time to time to see how they're doing. Not just like, not really, most people would literally, most people would actually be trying to, hey, you think you can talk to them to see if I can get in to go and work with them?
Yeah. That's like one of the things, especially, that's another piece of advice. Don't do that to people. If you're seeking people out to talk to just to get opportunity, don't do that. You are not going to look good to people when you do that stuff, and people will scope you out for it. So it's just build things naturally, people. Don't like try to network.
I don't like messed up the audio. What the heck? Okay, Streamlabs, what the heck?
Who is this person?
Okay, now it's working again. That was very weird. YouTube, what the heck?
That's... oof. I hope that's not gonna be any...
It's never done that before. Like, it didn't crash, and then when I restarted my, closed this, the video down, and then opened it back up, there we go, what I mean, on my phone, Like it was playing the audio again. I don't know what exactly, like, how much you got of that.
Ooh. That's unfortunate.
I'll have to check that out later. But
Yeah.
let's see. Okay, yeah, it looked like it did capture the audio. Like it just, like YouTube was just being weird.
Okay, that's good at least. Nothing lost.
Yeah, people can just like rewind back on the stream.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad.
Anyways, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it was weird. If you want to check out what he was saying, you can just rewind back. But anyways, alright, I'll be ending it off here. I thank you again, Brian, for joining me on this.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah. If you guys want to check out his stuff, you can check it out in the description below or on the title where I have his channel tagged. Definitely give him a follow on social media, and as well as give him a subscription and turn on the notification bell for his work. Anything else you want to say?
Don't really have anything to say. Just have a good day, everyone.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.